Alrighty, everybody. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning here. Hope all is well. What's up, Ponderosa? Good to see ya. Hope you are doing good yourself. But anyways, everybody, happy Saturday to you guys. We have a bit of a snow situation in some areas that you typically really don't see snow. So we're actually going to be seeing a little bit of snowfall in Florida coming up here. We'll get into that here in 1 second. I just want to give a minute for everybody to join here because it takes a minute for notifications to come out and stuff like that. But anyways, until then, I hope everyone's been doing well. Hope everyone's been great and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty darn cold lately. We actually have some more freeze watches in effect for Florida. Out here, including where I'm at here, we actually have freeze watches all the way down into central Florida here, which is pretty crazy. This includes like Orlando. Tampa's out of it because it's pretty close to coastal. You know, the closer you get to the coast, the warmer the temps usually are because it's influenced by the water around it, around those coastlines. But we do have a lot of central Florida also now in the freeze watches again here. But anyways, that's besides the point. The main thing we wanted to talk about here is the snow. Actually, Florida is supposed to be seeing a little bit of snowfall. Taking a look at the HRRR here, it looks like the snow is probably going to start sometime Sunday morning, from what it looks like. So tomorrow morning, this is showing kind of right around like 6 a.m. Eastern time, is whenever this is, really going to start to materialize here. Is when we're going to start to see some snow. So the Panhandle of Florida is actually one of the areas here that we actually could be seeing a bit of snowfall. That as well as like central southern Georgia as well. And it kind of turns back into rain here as we approach our way into the afternoon hours here of Sunday, because everything heats up here due to diurnal heating, daylight heating essentially. And then of course it goes back in the rain here. But it is actually really interesting because, this is a pretty far southern snowfall. I mean, last year we actually had that one crazy snow that drove like a foot of snow for the Panhandle of Florida. Now, this one's not going to be that extreme, but 2 years in a row of Florida having snowfall, that's pretty crazy. It is honestly pretty crazy here. But anyways, so this was the 12 UTC HRRR run here, the high resolution rapid refresh. Now, whenever we look at the actual totals, here, we'll go ahead and move that over here. Let's actually, what did I do here? Hold on a minute. I might need to move this over here, and then we'll do that so you guys can kind of see it. Ignore that other panel over there on the corner. But yeah, you can kind of see the snowfall that we could be seeing here, with this event here. So the Panhandle of Florida is probably not going to see a whole lot. This is kind of suggesting anywhere from 1 to 3 inches or so. Like I said, it's not going to be much, but the fact that you guys are getting anything is pretty crazy. It is definitely pretty crazy out there. A little bit of southeastern Alabama up by, is it Dothan or Dothan? Could be seeing maybe up to an inch or so. So then we work our way over here into Georgia. Now, some of the heaviest from this in particular band of snow will likely be here in eastern Georgia, where we actually have some totals as high as maybe 3 to 5 inches, according to the HRRR model here. But a lot of the southern side of Georgia, we're probably going to be mostly in the range of 1 to 3. But once you kind of go east of I-75 here, that's where the totals will likely start to increase a little bit more, maybe 2-3 inches. Locally 4, kind of closer to I-95, maybe in some of those eastern areas out there in Georgia. That's where we could see maybe a little bit more snowfall here. Good morning, Tom. Good to see you. Saying good morning, Andrew, in chat. Hope everyone is well. You too. Hope you're doing good, Tom. Thanks for stopping by. But anyways, and also on top of that, we actually have a little bit of a northeasterly snow kind of kicking off here. Let's bring back our other panel. Actually, first of all, we probably need to make this one smaller. We'll bring this back over here, and then we'll do this. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, we actually have a little bit of a northeasterly snow. Actually, from what it looks like, we might have some activity going on now. Here, let's actually hop to current radar. I do want to take a look at the current radar here and kind of see where we're sitting with everything here. Let's hop over to New York radar here. We'll go to the KGBM, or sorry, KBGM, or is that what I said? I don't even remember anymore. But yeah, you can actually see it is snowing pretty good out there in some areas. We got a few markers here showing accumulation. We got a little bit up in like northern New Jersey. Let's hop over down to DC. Let's see what we got going on over here. Ooh. Okay, looks like we got a little bit of rain going on, towards the DC area. But actually, Maryland, it looks like central and northern Maryland, we actually have a little bit of snow going on right now. And maybe even some snow in the upper elevations here of the Blue Ridge up in Virginia here. Actually have a little bit of activity going on out there right now. But yeah, that's another thing that we got to look out for. You can really see here on the central Pennsylvania radar out by State College. Definitely a pretty good amount of snowfall, especially out east. We do got some pretty heavy bands going on here currently. So, yeah, definitely got to look out for that. As we do have a little bit of a snowstorm kind of going on out here for you guys, like right now. Anyway, so that'll be rolling through. That system will bring not a whole lot of snow. I mean, for a lot of people, maybe a couple of inches or so. Some of those upper elevations here, like in central New York State, we might be able to see upwards maybe 4 to 6 inches. Could be a possibility for some of these regions, but majority, for the regions up here in the Northeast here, we're mostly going to be dealing with maybe like 2, maybe 3 inches. Local higher amounts, of course, could be possible here, so we'll have to look out for that. So then we go our way over here into Sunday, and you can actually see more snow is yet to come across like the Mid-Atlantic and stuff. Now, this could actually bring a little bit more accumulation for areas like northern Virginia, essentially. We could see maybe a little bit of snow mixed in with maybe some rain there. This will be also for Sunday morning. So Sunday morning, we're actually going to be having quite a bit of snowfall occurring, not just in the Mid-Atlantic there, but also down towards, like we mentioned, Florida. You can see this is particularly like 8 a.m. Eastern time here for tomorrow morning, being Sunday. So Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. At this point in time, you can see HRRR does have some heavy snow falling across Georgia and even Panhandle of Florida, just kind of towards Panama City, west of Tallahassee here. And then, of course, we work our way up towards the Mid-Atlantic Northeast, and we have another little bit of snow going on at this exact time as well. Maybe some lake effect snow up by like Michigan, the northern plains. We could have a little bit of snowfall, stuff like that going on out there. So definitely going to be pretty active here tomorrow morning with some snowfall, out of this kind of frontal system that's rolling through. What's up, Carrot? Good to see you, dude. Hope you are doing well. Saying, how am I doing? I'm doing good. Hopefully you're doing good yourself. Hold on, I gotta grab a pillow. Because this chair, dude, I need to buy me a new chair eventually, because this thing is so uncomfortable. So I have to put a pillow on the back of it, just to help. But I'm doing good, man. Hopefully you're doing good as well. But I just figured this is absolutely going to be pretty crazy here. Let's actually bring... we'll go ahead and one panel this here again. So we don't want to make it too cluttered. One thing I do want to look at here is the wind speeds. So let's pull up our... Actually, you know what we're going to do? That's wind gusts. We'll do max accumulated wind gusts here. We'll do... Let's just get actually surface. Then we'll do accumulated max wind gusts here. Ponderosa. Yeah, you know what? The plains is actually getting quite a bit of heavy winds here. So this is between now and 48 hours from now. So this is from now until the morning of Monday. And this is the accumulated max wind gusts. You can see that the plains here... Here, I'll even add some points so you guys can see this here. Maybe we'll make them a little bit more visible. They're a little tricky to see with... Oh, whoops, I done did it now. There we go. Here, let's make that a single color, and we'll do white. There you go. So you guys can actually see the numbers here. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, we're going to get pretty windy here. So between today and Monday morning, this is the max accumulated wind gusts here. You can see a lot of the plains, like North, South Dakota. I mean, we're talking like 50, 60 mile an hour winds out here. I mean, we're talking some pretty... pretty strong winds here. Down towards the southern central plains here, we have, good maybe 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts over in some areas here, like by Oklahoma, OKC, kind of right around 45-ish mile an hour wind gusts possible. The Ohio Valley could get a little bit, windy here, possibly in the 30s. 30 mile an hour winds definitely could still cause some problems. Really got to look out for some of those upper elevations, though, because some of these peaks can actually get pretty darn windy, given that they're higher elevations, and the flow higher up is usually a little bit stronger. Let's see here. It's nice that the South can finally get some snow. They've been wanting... Yeah, that's true. But the problem is people don't know how to drive. Well, they don't know how to drive anyway down here, but they don't they don't know how to drive in snow yet alone. It's gonna be a bit of a problem. Anyways, I mean, given how cold it's been too, I'm sure the roads and stuff are pretty cold. So some of those back roads and stuff like that could definitely see some accumulation. Anyways, what's up, Peachy? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. What's up, Binksy? Good to see you. W update stream. Let's go. Hope you're doing good, man. It's good to see you. But yeah, so like I said, really strong winds here. It's going to be coming in here. A lot of them has already kind of been going on right now. But we have another really big wave of not cold air, well, that too, but winds coming down here really for Sunday morning. It seems like everything's happening Sunday morning. Sunday morning, we're getting a lot of heavy winds up north. And at that same time, that's when we're getting some of that snow to fall down in the south here, which is pretty crazy. But anyways. Let's see here. Shots fired. Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble for that, aren't I? What's up, Free Thank you. Good to see you, my friend. I was wondering when you joined. Because, yeah, it looks like we might get some snow out there by you. Let's see here. So, let's see. Zipco getting snows. You're in Macon, I remember. I remember you. All right, so you, my friend, so when I was looking at the models, we're actually just looking at that here. Let's go back to precipitation. We'll go back to precip type reflectivity here. So we'll go back here. So whenever looking at your area, you can see that we could get scraped by a little bit of snow. See, this is kind of one of those tricky storms. Like, you're right on the edge of the line where the HRRR, in this case, does show you kind of getting that snow. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, don't, how am I going to word this? Don't be surprised if you don't see much with this system. I mean, we're not expecting a lot anyways with this thing, but just don't be surprised if it misses you altogether. I mean, you're right on it. I mean, it could hit you. It's kind of a 50-50 shot right now, I believe, because, like I said, you're right on the edge of it, and it gets me a little... It's a little iffy, whenever you're right on the edge, because it could easily shift a little bit further south, and then you could get nothing at all. Or, who knows, it could go a little bit further north, and you could get more. Who knows? Models, once again, they ain't perfect. They're never going to be perfect anytime soon, I should say. But yeah, let's look at the accumulations here. I'll go ahead and show you what we got going on here. So we'll do the 10-to-1 ratio here. We're not getting any super-duper cold air, so we're not going to need the other. Let's go ahead and get rid of the other, you know what, we'll just go ahead and hide the reflectivity there. So there you go. So here's the total snowfall. Now you and Macon, you can see you're right on the line here. I mean, it may be a trace, could be possible. We're not expecting any really heavy accumulations. A lot of that's going to be south of you, actually. So areas out there, towards southern Georgia, we're talking mostly maybe 2-3 inches, locally higher amounts being possible. So that's something that we'll look out there for. But, once again, also the panhandle of Florida here could see a couple of inches as well. So not a whole lot. Let's see. Peachy says, good to see you as well. I'm doing good. How about you? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Hold up. Free thank you. Thanks for the 5. I appreciate it. Saying thank you so much, Andrew. You are very welcome. Thank you for the $5. I can get a foot long. Probably not anymore, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see here. Ceridian's gonna be cold. Shock like iguanas, dude. I died. You're seeing a revived Andrew right here, because we had like freezing temps the other night. It was, I think my Mesonet recorded, was it 31.3? I think it was something like that. But we dipped down below freezing here where I'm at in Lakeland. It was pretty cold. But yeah, unfortunately, we got even more coming up here. You can actually see we have more freeze watches in effect here for Polk County, going all the way down to Polk County here, and some of the central parts of Florida, including Orlando, actually. Yeah, you guys are under a freeze watch as well. Typically the cities are a little bit warmer. They usually are a little bit warmer than, the rural areas. So the temperatures might be a little bit higher and out there by Orlando, but temperatures could drop as low as 30. Regardless, way too cold. Way too cold. Free Thank you says you're welcome. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Once again, thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. It helps us out a ton. So thank you. Thank you. All right, let's hop back over here to the models here. So let's look at some other models. So we were just looking at the HRRR. I want to pull up some other opinions. It's good to look at different models. Here is what the NAM 3 kilometers shows. Now, everybody loves NAM, but, it's a model. We'll at least get its, opinion here. So this model, the NAM 3K, actually shows a bit more. And matter of fact, it does show that snow a little bit further north here, as comparing to the HRRR. But according to the NAM 3K, it shows actually a pretty good chunk here from the panhandle of Florida, kind of more like 3 to 5 inches, for the most part. But I personally think that the NAM 3K is probably going a little bit overboard here. Let me actually see if I can pull up the official forecast here from the Hurricane Center, or not the Hurricane Center. What am I on about Hurricane Center? Let's see here. We'll do totals. Yeah, there is a page here from the Weather Service that you can look at the snow totals. Here's the measured snow totals. Hold on a minute. I want to see what they have to say about this, because it's obviously good to forecast maps, maybe short range precip amount. Where's the snowfall forecast? I hardly ever even use this, to be honest with you, this site. Well, here's this. I can show you this, actually. So if I bring this up, we'll open this in a new tab here. So this is them actually showing us that where the areas could see some snowfall. It's crazy to see. Why do I look so bright? Hold on a minute. Oh my gosh, that made it worse. Hold on. I'm glowing. Why am I glowing? Anyways, well, there you go. You guys can see that we have the mixed precipitation line going all the way down to the Gulf Coast, which is pretty wild. So, anyways, so that's better. Let's see here. Hi, Andrew. Any thoughts for, let's see here, 31. It's funny you say that. We literally just did a zip code in Macon, Georgia. So basically, the way that it looks, so Macon's kind of right on that line, that hit or miss line, where you could either see a little bit, even if you got some, it likely wouldn't be anything more than an inch or so, or you could see nothing. I mean, you're right on that line, literally right on that line, where it could either be one or the other. So the NAM 3K that we're looking at here, you can kind of see suggests maybe 2-3 inches or so. I don't buy that personally. I don't think so. This model not only shows the line further north, but it also shows a more amount of snowfall. I'm more likely to lean with the HRRR on this. Like if we go back to the 12 UTC, which is the latest long run here, you can see that most of it's just south here. I wouldn't expect a whole lot, honestly. Let's see here. Tony says snow in Tampa. Nah, it's not going to snow in Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, I'm not far from Tampa Bay myself. I'm a little bit east out here in Lakeland. I wish we could get a little bit of snow. I don't want to deal with the cold air with it, but I'd like to see some snow. But no, this is mostly going to be a panhandle event here, up north here. So if we go back, you can kind of see where the blue is here. This is all that snowfall. The yellow and the green, this is rainfall, by the way, for people who don't know. So all this is snow, all this is rain. But you can actually see that, some of the panhandle does get a bit of snowfall. Maybe even briefly Tallahassee. It's a little hard to tell here, but that goes all the way up through Georgia, and it kind of fades out here once we get into South Carolina, because at that point in time we're going in towards midday. Of course, we're starting to have diurnal heating, which is this typical daylight heating, which, as you know, as you go in the daytime, the temperature gets hotter. So that'll be happening, and that'll be converting the snowfall back into rain, because it'll be just simply too warm for it. It'll cause everything to melt. But anyways, yeah, I mean, not going to be a whole lot. I mean, it doesn't go down into the main peninsula. It mostly stays on the quote-unquote continental part of Florida. That's what I consider it. Because these areas in the Panhandle really get a lot of continental effects. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of these air masses really influence the Panhandle similarly to the mainland, inside of, the main U.S. But we kind of have our own little bubble here in central southern Florida, because it's like we get influenced not only by the Gulf on the west, but also the Atlantic on the east here. So it's, those are two heavy influencers, which usually keep us a little bit warmer. But a lot of the inland areas here are a bit cooler because of the lack of water influence on both coasts. I don't want to bore you guys too much, but I'm just kind of kind of showing you how that works here. But anyways, but yeah, so then of course, as we progress away into the afternoon of Sunday, all that rain will kind of exit off. The Northeast could actually deal with a little bit of snowfall here as well. Pretty much from, Sunday morning cutting through, into the afternoon and evening. Actually, we could have a pretty good amount of snowfall actually up by yours, probably by like New York State. New York City, portions of New York State as well. But let me bring up the accumulation here as well. We'll do the 10-to-1 ratio. Yeah, you can actually see here. I mean, according to the HRRR, all day we could actually be dealing with probably a pretty good amount. Well, we have a little bit going on here soon. So about an inch. So we'll just subtract about an inch. So about maybe 4 inches or so. Could be possible with tomorrow's snowstorm up there. Here we'll put the reflectivity over top. So you can kind of see here that we do have a little bit of snow falling here, a little bit of accumulation here this morning, going into the afternoon. Maybe a couple of inches in some of the areas up here by by New England, and of course, then we have a second round come through here for tomorrow. Driving a bit of snowfall, which, could actually be a decent amount. I mean, look over there by Massachusetts, like Rhode Island here. I mean, we could see quite a bit, actually. Maybe 3-5 inches, probably even a little bit more than that, honestly. Locally higher amounts here. See rats, yeah. Yeah, we ain't going to get nothing that far south, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so you guys can kind of see what this whole event's going to pretty much look like. I'll go ahead and hide the snow totals here, and I'll let this play for a minute just so you guys can kind of see the whole movement of the system. So on top of this, you can actually see up north, because of the cold air mass that's coming down here, because all this cold air that's advancing down into the country here, actually, we could get some more lake effect snow up north. Because of the fact that we have the warm waters of the Great Lakes still warmer than the air temperature will be rolling over them, which, that could really kick up some of those snowmakers there. So we could definitely get maybe a little bit of accumulation here towards some of like Michigan, especially West Coast Michigan. It looks like we could get quite a bit here within the next couple of days. So this is the span between now and early Monday that you guys are seeing this loop here. So, I mean, it spans for a little bit of time here. So anyways, but that's that, y'all. Now out west here, it's kind of funny because beforehand we were having, like weeks ago, we were having like tons and tons of precipitation that's been falling out there. We've been getting a heck of a lot of rainfall for the west here. I mean, it's been pretty darn pretty darn oversaturated for the most part. Now there ain't hardly anything going on out west, which is pretty crazy. And it's wilder to think because we kind of swapped roles because the west was getting a lot of precipitation, the east was not, and now the west is not getting any precipitation or barely any, while the east is. Whoops, I'm still on my pen here. Oh my gosh, let's go exit out of that. So it's definitely weird, there's kind of swapping roles here. But anyways, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know here. But just wanted to really kind of show you guys what's going on here. I mean, we definitely could get a little bit of snowfall here, out of the system here. We got to really look out for tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, where we could see not only a bit of snow, down south here, towards like southern Georgia and even the panhandle of Florida, could be a real good possibility. But also up in the northeast here too, we could have a bit of a snowmaker here tomorrow. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Isn't the snow cover record lows in the west? I'm not entirely too sure. I don't have an anomaly map up, but I do know a lot of the upper elevations are probably, if not normal, probably even above. Because, I mean, we've seen a lot of moisture come through those upper elevations of, like, California here. I mean, we've gotten quite a bit here. Let me see if I can actually pull up. I know Pivotal Weather has a map. Let's see here. Pivotal Weather. They have a map that shows the seasonal snowfall. So I can kind of look at the exact amount of that's fallen this year. See, observed snowfall. Here is seasonal snowfall analysis. All right, here you go. I'm going to show this to you. So yeah, I mean, if we zoom in here, I mean, you can see that, yeah, especially up there in the upper elevations of California, I mean, they've been seeing quite a bit. You said Colorado to be exact. Well, they have some definite heavy amounts in some of these upper elevations here. It really depends on where. Unfortunately, I don't have an anomaly map that shows what it's at now. Comparing to the normal amount at this time of year. But all I do know is that we've definitely gotten a pretty good amount so far up towards the upper Midwest here, the Ohio Valley, especially the Northeast. We've been getting a lot of lake effect snow. For a lot of like Western New York State, which they typically do get, like Northwestern Pennsylvania too, even Western Michigan. These areas really seem to get a pretty good amount of lake effect snow, and there's, even more getting ready to be added to that here, because we're definitely going to be having a bit more lake effect snow here that we got to look out for. All right, so now the thing I do want to look at now, of course, is these temperatures, because they are going to be a little bit chilly. And models were actually kind of hinting towards maybe even another like cool down. You could actually see right there, there's another blast of cold air coming in here for Sunday and Monday. But if you look down towards Florida for a minute here, you can see this cold front that comes through, right? So this actually knocks those temperatures down from possibly the 70s. This is actually right where I'm at, believe it or not. Right here in the 70s, knocking those temps down into, like the 50s in a matter of a couple of hours. It just shows you how strong this cold front is. But that'll be leaving us with some like freezing temperatures here overnight, for some areas up here in Florida. You can see 30, they did say as low as 30 degrees possible out here. And definitely some really cold air, especially if you go over here towards the upper Midwest here. You can see that temps are going to be ridiculously cold. Now, these temps that you're seeing here, let me go ahead and make these brighter so you can see them. But these are actual temperatures. And, that 0 degree line pretty much consists like right in here for the most part. It's kind of hard to get it exactly, but right in here is kind of where we could see the temperature is basically sub-zero all in this area here. This is going to be here for Monday morning. Monday morning is going to be really, really cold, like ridiculously cold. So we'll definitely need to look out for that. You'll definitely need to bundle up. Out there by like Minnesota, look at this. Temperatures are going to be like -20 in some areas, especially out there by River Falls. Thief River Falls area, definitely will be quite cold per se. Way too cold for me. And remember, these are actual temperatures. These are not your feel-like temps. These are going to be actual temps. But shoot, even down in Miami here, temps are going to be in the lower 50s, which for them, that's really cold. That's really cold. It's not very often that we get that cold. But yeah, Central Florida here, like I was saying, below freezing. Even expected. Anyways, what's up, Ashes? Good to see you. Saying good morning, Andrew, in chat. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, so just be sure to bundle up here. Definitely going to be quite a cold time here. So obviously now it's a bit chilly as well. Some of these areas ain't even really going to be breaking, sub-zero today up by like Minnesota. We're mostly going to be like lower single digits. If not the negatives here, which is ridiculous. Then, of course, you can see that second push of cold air coming in here for pretty much Monday, late Sunday going into Monday here. I do want to take this a little bit further. Here, let's bring up the GFS here. We'll bring up the long-range models here now. So it looks like... Ooh, yeah, it looks like it gets a little bit... This is about 200 hours out. I don't like to look this far, but... hopefully things will actually warm up a bit here, which it doesn't look too promising, especially up north. It looks like it's going to be pretty cold for a while now, but some of the coldest days are between today and pretty much through Monday. Tuesday it could heat up a little bit for some areas here. During like midday here, this is Wednesday, by the way. This is Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. This is like midday, typically the warmest time of the day here. You can see Ohio Valley upper 30s. Yeah, we're definitely in the heart of winter at this point in time. Typically it's kind of later January, early February is when you really have some of the coldest times. And, that's really showing itself. Then, of course, you got up north. I mean, maximum temperatures up here in, like, the northern plains here is, like, the teens and 20s, which is crazy. Same thing up there kind of towards the Great Lakes here. Some areas in the teens, especially by, like, Wisconsin, the northeast here in the 20s. But definitely just pretty darn chilly. Definitely going to see quite a bit of cold air here coming up. And then, like I said, another thing that I wanted to show you guys here once again was those max accumulated wind gusts, because it's actually going to get pretty darn windy here. We already do have a little bit of strong winds going on out by the central plains here, but as we approach our way into pretty much like Sunday, going in here late today into tomorrow morning, we're going to have some pretty strong wind gusts here. Matter of fact, let's hop back to the HRRR here. We'll go back to the HRRR, and then we'll actually look up the, we'll just do wind gusts here instead of max accumulated. So, see, Carrot says, I'm going to head to bed now. Have a good day. You too. Have a good rest, my friend. But yeah, I mean, you can see kind of like right around this morning, it looks like right now it is a little bit windy, likely towards the central plains and, the Midwest here. I mean, we're likely dealing with these winds of about 30, maybe 40 miles an hour. But here, let's go back to the 12 UTC. They'll go a little bit further down in time. So, but yeah, here's whenever we approach our way into pretty much Sunday morning, you can see. Yeah, Sunday morning going into the afternoon here, we definitely do have a bit of, definitely do have a bit of strong winds actually breaking through here, which will eventually work its way towards like the Great Lakes here, pretty much for later Sunday, early Monday. But yeah, we got to look out for that. I mean, even Florida could give it a little bit of gusty winds. Whoa. What's going on out here? Yeah, kind of out here by like central Florida, some of the winds, we could get some gusts upwards, maybe 30, 40. Yeah, we actually have a little bit of a cold front coming through here for Florida. That's what's going to be driving all this nasty cold air for us too. But yeah, we got to look out for a little bit of windy conditions out here in Florida too. A lot of the heavy winds that are going to be up towards the plains, which, I mean, a lot of you guys here in the upper mid plains, I mean, you guys are really used to having some real strong winds, but, we could be seeing some amounts pretty high. Some areas here we could be seeing maybe 40, 50 mile an hour wind gusts, maybe even slightly higher in some places here, like Nebraska, here for Sunday afternoon. Well, this will be late Sunday morning for you guys. This is 12 o'clock Eastern, so this will be 11 Central. For the later morning here, I mean, really, really quite windy there. Here, I'll bring up the sea level pressure here as well. We'll do single color, and we'll make the width a little bit greater. We'll do 2.5 width. I'll also make this white. There you go. Yeah, so you can really see those ISO bars. So this is showing you where the areas of constant equal pressure are. So for an example, Topeka at this time is at the same pressure typically as like Bloomington, Illinois. So you can see how the line kind of correlates. So this shows where the equal pressure is. You can see that low up here towards like kind of towards Minneapolis here in Minnesota. But, you can see where these bars, these ISO bars, how they're pretty crammed together. So that's telling us that the pressure is changing a lot over a short distance, over a short period of time as well. So, because of the rapid change in pressure, that allows for greater airflow from higher to lower pressure, because winds always flow from high to low pressure. So for an example, usually not perpendicular or right at the center, but usually kind of like almost parallel to it. So in this case, they're coming down from northwest to southeast because they're kind of wrapping around the low. That's typically what they do. But yeah, really, really windy conditions out here. This is once again for later Sunday morning for the Central Plains. So definitely got to look out for that. As that low does sweep through, in which definitely got to keep an eye out there for that. So just be careful. See, I think there's a thing where they added like arrows, so I can kind of show you guys where well, anyways, the wind flow at this particular point is going. We'll make this a little bit wider. It's going like this. So you have your main low up here. This is your central low. Essentially, you have like counterclockwise rotation going on here. And you can see all the flow basically just wraps around. And then that sometimes can bring up warmer air. That's why some of these severe weather events get pretty crazy because you get a lot of advancing warm air and you got a lot of advancing cold air, and then they kind of clash where the cold front is, where the separation between the two air masses is. Anyways, what's up, Alex? Good to see you saying, man, I'm so excited for the snow across in central New Jersey. The coastal storm tomorrow looks like a decent snowstorm. Yeah, we were actually looking at that here a little bit ago. I will bring it up for you again if you'd like. All right, let's see here. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it could be bringing a decent amount of snowfall here. Really starting Sunday morning, you can see. I mean, this will be persisting through, a lot of Sunday, actually, going even into the evening. Now, you said central New Jersey. I mean, yeah, it looks like it could start really for the kind of mid-morning of Sunday, kind of like 7 a.m. Easterns, whenever the HRRR shows this particular frame. And it doesn't have it really leaving until maybe like 7, 8 p.m. So that's a good 12 hours of snow. That's going to be a pretty good amount of snowfall potentially here. Looks like some of the heaviest will be between later morning to pretty much early afternoon. And then it looks like it could pick back up again here for the early evening until we approach late evening. So it'll be like a peak, and then it'll be like a valley, and then like a peak in activity again. So kind of two peaks there, which, I mean, could be pretty decent. Here, let me bring up the totals. Now, some of these areas here, I think we said that we were going to be getting, quite a few inches here. We'll do our 10-to-1 ratio here regarding the total snowfall. So, as the snowstorm does roll through, it depends on exactly where you're at. Like Trenton, New Jersey, we could see maybe, maybe 5 or 6 inches. But I'd range that more towards 4 to 6, just to kind of give it a little bit of wiggle room. Because in some cases it could be higher, some cases it could be lower. Up there towards like the northern side, up by like Newark area, same thing, pretty much mostly. Now, southern New Jersey doesn't appear to be a whole lot of snowfall. As of right now, like towards Atlantic City, Stafford Township, some of these areas could be, pretty much an inch or less for the most part. It's really central northern New Jersey that has some of the heaviest precipitation. I think a lot of that has to do with the coastal influence of warmer waters out here. Kind of keeping the area maybe a little bit warmer. Either that or the precipitation here. Let's go back to precip type here. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously moisture there. It's warmer air definitely getting to it. You can see mostly some of it's going to be rainfall. Maybe until late, once diurnal heating goes away, once the daylight heating stops, then we start getting the nighttime, come over and cool things down. It'll convert it back in from rain to snow, which, southern New Jersey will kind of clip the tail end of the system. Pretty much just allowing them to be kind of late to the show, which ultimately means they won't get as much. Anyways, let's see here. Ashes says, what about central North Carolina for snow tomorrow? So you guys down there, I don't think we're going to be getting a whole lot of snow, really. I mean, it's here for actually late today. Here for late today. We are going to be seeing a bit of mountain snow out west, out like Asheville, maybe. A little bit of snowfall. A lot of it appears to be mostly rain, though. Yeah, you can see that most of this is just going to be rainfall, unfortunately. So you're probably not going to see much. Now, there's some frames here where we could be like maybe towards a wintry mix, maybe some rain, maybe some snow. Let me actually bring up the temperatures here to kind of compare, just to kind of see. I mean, now, a lot of it's not just surface temperatures that matter in this case for wintry precipitation. A lot of it matters. Actually, a better thing we could do is just grab a sounding here, because you can see where that 0 degree marker is. So if I grab a sounding right there in central North Carolina, so if we zoom in here, yeah, you can really see in this case it's the surface that's causing us to lose out on the snow accumulations and stuff. So, so this purple line right here where my cursor is, this is our freezing point. So this is where 0 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. Anything on the left of that, this is below freezing temperatures. All this is, so from this line here over here, this is below freezing temps. which the red shows the current temperature at this point. Anything on the right-hand side is above freezing. Now you can see in the lower altitudes, because this is indicating the surface, this goes up in altitude, you can see how the temperature kind of gets warmer right towards the surface. So that'll prevent anything that's falling. So it'll be falling as snow up until the point it gets, a couple thousand feet up. Then because of the warm air, it'll start to melt and to rain before it hits the ground. So yeah, you're probably not going to see anything, unfortunately. It looks like anything that we do get is going to be rainfall for the most part. And I can actually probably... Here, we'll grab a sounding again. I think I can actually play it in motion here. I'm pretty sure the HRRR, or this program does show that. Yeah. So you can kind of see here, as the system comes nearby, we do get pretty cold in our lower mid-levels, but our surface temps are still pretty warm. They do drop a little bit, but unfortunately not enough to really do anything. And by the time it does get to the freezing point, it does get cold, all the snow will be out. So that's kind of why that's happening there. And you can see at that hour, you can see it's just completely gone. So don't think we'll be seeing anything in North Carolina, unfortunately. Is this a nor'easter or no? Whoops, I didn't mean to draw there. I don't think it's one of your classic nor'easters per se. Typically those bring a lot heavier accumulation, stronger pressure, more moisture, stuff like that. I wouldn't consider it personally, a nor'easter, that storm. I mean, yeah, it's a storm brushing the northeast, but I'm pretty sure there's actual conditions or actual, what is it? Well, you kind of know what I'm saying here. Actual conditions need to be met for it to be classified as that. We'll bring up the pressure here. Let's see. We'll do surface. Oh, there you go. Mean sea level pressure here. Bring that up. Do single color. I have to edit this every time here. There we go. 2.5. Yeah. You can see that low off of the Atlantic there. We get down to 1,003. Typically nor'easters, you see like the temperature, the pressure down in like 990s, 980s, 970s. Really strong. This is considered a decent low, but it's not considered like a super strong low. I don't think this would be considered a nor'easter though. Let's see. Ashes says maybe next time. Thank you, Andrew. Yep, no problem, dude. I got you. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like you guys are going to be getting anything with that. But who knows? We still have a lot of the winter to go, man. And I tell you what, it's definitely been a cold one, I believe. I'm sure a lot of you guys could agree on that. This winter has been very cold, a very cold winter. Unfortunately, though, for some cases, we haven't had that many big storms, though. Like really huge winter storms. Now, I'm going to go and take a look at some of the major models here again with you guys. Here, let's go ahead and bring this up here. So we'll do two panels again. We'll do this panel and that panel. On the west, we'll do, or not the west, the left-hand side. I guess it's west. The left-hand side, we'll do the American GFS model. So let's do that now. We'll do GFS here. And on the right, we'll do the European model here, the ECMWF. So once again, the left-hand panel, this is GFS. This is the Euro ECMWF. I will actually remove I don't want to scramble the screen too much here. Here, let's do that. We'll do precipitation type reflectivity. Here we go. Once again, GFS over here, Euro over here. You can actually see it down here too. GFS, Euro. So anything in the future, you can see, obviously we have some of this eastern activity here. GFS shows the most activity out of them all. GFS actually does show a little bit of snow for North Carolina, but some of the high res models like the HRRR we looked at doesn't really show it. I don't know. These models are less resolution. They're lower resolution, which makes their quality a little bit lower than say like the HRRR or whatever. But anyways, yeah, you can see that we do have. Definitely do have that coastal storm go through, maybe a little bit of snow for the east, which we are expecting. Up north, the Euro actually shows a bit of snow towards the Great Lakes here for Sunday, which both models do, but it seems like Euro has a bit more here. We continue working our way down further in time here. Now, it doesn't really look like anything major is going to happen. At this point, the HRRR model runs out of frames here. And at this point, we're kind of getting towards 150 hours out or so, which is, I don't want to push any more than that, really. Doesn't look like any major storms are coming up anytime soon. I mean, other than this this little eastern, this East Coast snowstorm here that's working its way through, I don't think we're really going to have anything major going on anytime soon. I mean, even with like severe weather or anything like that either. I mean, it doesn't really look like it that we're going to really dealing with a whole lot. I'm going to remove the euro there for a minute here. Let's actually bring up the instability here. I'll bring up the thermodynamics. We'll do most unstable cape here, just so we can look for any like instability in this case. Which, I mean, you can see a lot of the fuel. This is thunderstorm fuel, by the way. You can see a lot of the fuel remains out in the Atlantic, the Caribbean and whatnot. It's just constant bombardment of these frontal systems kind of keeps a lot of the warmer air out of the country, which in turn keeps a lot of the instability away too. I mean, you can see there's really not a whole lot of fuel that's going to be in the United States for any type of like thunderstorm activity or anything like that. So that'll be good. That'll definitely be good, which I'm happy about that. Alex says saw the wind chills for next week, -20 to -30. Where's that at? Yeah, that'll be pretty ridiculous. Is that for you? Here, we'll bring up the temperatures again here. We'll look at the long range. You know what we're going to do here, actually? We're going to make the temperatures that are 32 and below white. Actually, we'll do from 32 to 0. We'll do white. So you guys can kind of see where all the freezing temps are. And then the rest we'll just do like purple. So you can see this is well in the negatives here. So with the cool down coming down, you can see here, this is going to be for, this is really far down though. I don't like to look that far. Didn't realize I was that far down in time. So obviously we have a pretty cold night coming in here for Monday morning. You can see those freezing temps. I mean, even getting there towards like all of northern Florida. A lot of central. Why do I look like that? I'm very glowy again. I need to get a better camera because this thing sucks at picking up color. Anyways, but yeah, you can see we do have freezing temps all the way down towards central Florida here. A lot of the country in white, which tells us that these are where all the freezing temps are going to be. A lot of the west is still pretty cold, but still not quite there. But yeah, Los Angeles, they always stay warmer. They always stay a little bit warmer here. Yeah, obviously we're going way too far down in the model here, which, I don't like to look any further than about 150 hours out. But until then, it doesn't look like any more massive cooldowns really occur. I mean, of course, we definitely get some pretty chilly conditions here between today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and stuff, especially up north, by like the northern plains. I mean, you guys are going to be getting like well into the negatives in some areas here, which is just way too cold. But anyways, all right, everybody. Well, if y'all have any final questions before I roll off here, let me know. Actually, we got some snow reports coming in here. This is up in Maryland, actually. We do have a little bit of snow reports for central Maryland. Got some max report here is 2 inches. Got a lot of 1-inch markers here. We got a couple of half-inch. These are probably older reports. Let's see. Excuse me. They should probably do this by the hour, honestly. All at once too, instead of just like scattered times, because it really throws off like the timing of the event here. Like some of these lower accumulations, these were from earlier. They're not up to date. I don't know. But I think a lot of these here are actually like spotter reports and stuff like that. You can see, yeah, some of these are Department of Highways, Co-op Observer, Public, Department of Highways, Train Spotter. They need to have one. I mean, there might be some somewhere where they update like on the dot, which that'll be better to look at. But anyways, you can see there's quite a few reports coming in here now, though. Well, a lot of them are 1 inch at least, and got 1 2-inch, which that one's from the Weather Service, so that's a good report. So anyways, but all right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for stopping by here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll off for now. I'm gonna go ahead and work on my other channel here. But if you guys did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated here. So I might go live again later tonight to give you guys another update on this Florida snow situation here. So we'll probably do that later on tonight. I'm not sure what time, but I'm gonna shoot maybe right around 7, 8 o'clock Eastern. So we'll try to shoot around that time to go live again for you guys here before before the snowstorm happens in Florida here. So, but anyways, folks, well, thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate it. We might even actually do coverage if I'm up early enough, which I've been getting up at like 6 a.m. lately. So I'm sure I'll probably be awake in the time that Florida's getting their snow. So I'll probably hop on live and maybe we'll do a little bit of coverage of Florida snow with you guys. So, but all right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for joining. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, leave it a like. It'll be much appreciated. And all right, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.